He read her job application twice. Then a third time. At the bottom of the last page, in the section labeled Additional Notes, she had written 7 unexpected words, already married to you. You just don't know it yet. His heart stopped. Not because of fear, but because the handwriting was familiar. Too familiar. And what happened next changed both their lives forever. This isn't just a love story. It's a story of memory, loss, hope, and a miracle that found its way back. Stay with us till the end and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories, because sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is never give up on someone, even if the world has. It had been a long, exhausting day for Jonathan Hayes, the hiring manager at a mid-sized publishing company in Seattle. Stack after stack of resumes, interviews that blurred into each other, smiles that felt mechanical, and coffee that no longer worked. They were down to their final candidate, resume number 143. Everyone else had left for the day. The HR assistant had paused at the door and said, "Sir, this last one just came in through email. We didn't even schedule her. Want to skip it?" Jonathan rubbed his temple and shook his head. "No. Print it. I'll take a look." She had written her name as Eleanor Grace Harper. And her experience was solid: small press editor, poetry enthusiast, fluent in French, had moved from Chicago recently. But what stopped him cold was the handwriting. A sticky note had been scanned with the application. The word scribbled on it read, "Already married to you. You just don't know it yet." Jonathan dropped the paper. Not out of shock. Out of something older. Something painful. He whispered her name aloud. Eleanor? He hadn't said that name in 4 years. Eleanor Grace Harper was his wife. Or, she had been. Until the car accident. Until she disappeared. That night 4 years ago was the last time he saw her. The wreckage was discovered near a forest trail on the outskirts of Chicago. Her purse was found. Her shoes. But her body never turned up. Investigators assumed the worst. Some suggested she might have walked off, confused or injured. Others believed she may have been taken. But nothing made sense. Jonathan had grieved. Hard. He had waited. And eventually, moved away to Seattle. And now, her resume was on his desk. He stared at the photograph on the file. It was her. Older, maybe a bit thinner, her long brown hair now slightly curled, but her eyes, same hazel spark. There was no doubt. She was alive. He read her writing again. Already married to you. You just don't know it yet. That handwriting had once written him love notes, tucked into lunchboxes, or left on his desk when they were both working from home. It was her. It was Eleanor. He tried to track the sender. The email had come from a shared computer at a public library in town. No phone number listed. No home address. Just a line, "I'm looking for a job. Preferably somewhere I'll be remembered." Jonathan jumped from his seat. He grabbed his coat, ran past his assistant, and bolted out into the Seattle drizzle. He didn't know where to go. He just knew he couldn't stay still. For the next 3 days, he searched every library in the city. Most had security cameras, and with a little persuasion and company clearance, he got access to logs. And finally, one gave him what he needed. A woman matching Eleanor's description had used a computer station last Thursday. That station was near the window. Jonathan walked to that same chair and sat where she had sat. He could still feel her energy there. Like she had left a whisper of herself behind. He asked the librarian if she knew her. "Oh, you mean the lady with the sad eyes and the green scarf? She's been coming here almost every week. Doesn't talk much. Very kind. Always reading poetry." Jonathan waited at that library every day for a week. Then, on Tuesday morning, she walked in. Wearing that same green scarf. Holding a cup of tea. Looking like a ghost had stepped into the sunlight. He stood up. "Eleanor," he said, voice breaking. She turned slowly. Her eyes blinked twice. Then she dropped the cup. "Do I know you?" she asked. He staggered forward, unsure what to say. "I'm Jonathan. Your husband." She backed away. "I'm sorry. I think you're mistaking me for someone else." She didn't recognize him. Her face was soft, apologetic, even warm, but blank. She didn't know who he was. Jonathan tried again. "You wrote, 'already married to you,' in the job application. That's how I found you." She frowned. "I don't remember writing that." His heart cracked. A librarian stepped in and gently said, "Sir, she has memory loss. Hasn't shared much. But we've been helping her. She's kind, but scared. Please be careful." Jonathan sat down, stunned. The woman he had loved with all his soul was right here. Alive. Breathing. But she didn't know him. Didn't remember the home they built, the books they read, the way she used to laugh when he danced badly in the kitchen. But that note, it had been her handwriting. Her words. It meant something was still there. Something buried. And he wasn't going to give up. The next few days were a test of patience, heartbreak, and quiet hope. Jonathan didn't try to force a reunion. He just visited the library at the same time every day, sitting at the same table across from her. Sometimes he brought a poetry book and read aloud to himself. Sometimes he left a sticky note with a verse from a poem they used to love. Eleanor, who now went by Elle, never spoke to him. But she never walked away either. One rainy afternoon, he found her staring at the note he had left. "I carry your heart with me, I carry it in my heart. E. Cummings." Her favorite. She whispered, "That feels familiar." Jonathan smiled. "It used to be our wedding vow." She blinked. "Wedding?" He nodded. "You wore blue shoes. And made me cry when you walked down the aisle." She laughed softly. "That sounds like something I'd do." He nodded, eyes wet. "You wrote me notes. Everywhere. In books. On mirrors. On the back of receipts. One said, 'Already married to you. You just don't know it yet.'" She gasped. "That line. That's... I don't know why, but that line makes me feel warm inside." "It brought me to you," he said. Over the next week, she started asking questions. Who was she? What kind of person? Did they have a dog? A favorite cafe? He answered everything. Gently. With love. He even brought her an old photo album. One afternoon, she picked up a picture of the two of them laughing in the snow, her scarf wrapped around both their necks. She touched the image. "That's me?" He nodded. "I look really happy." "You were," he said. "And you will be again." Slowly, she let him walk her home from the library. She had been staying in a women's shelter, volunteering at a thrift store, trying to rebuild a life she didn't remember. He offered her a job at the publishing company, not out of pity, but because she was still sharp with editing and loved poetry like she once did. She accepted. On her first day at work, she brought a brown paper bag. Inside was a notebook full of writing she didn't remember ever writing. One page had a line. "I dream of a man whose tears match mine, whose laughter echoes in the halls of my forgotten home." And below it, "Already married to you. You just don't know it yet." She looked up at Jonathan. "I think I wrote this before my accident. Maybe it's how I held on." Jonathan took her hand. You never let go. And I never stopped searching. Months passed. She began to remember more. Sometimes in dreams. Sometimes in fragments. She remembered the time they got caught in the rain and danced anyway. The night they ate cereal on the kitchen floor after the power went out. The first time he called her Ellie. And one evening, standing at the edge of a lake where they used to watch sunsets, she turned to him and said, "I remember everything." She was crying. So was he. They kissed. And this time, it felt like coming home, not starting over, but returning to something that had waited patiently in the quiet. Some love stories never end. They just pause, until one brave note finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Because sometimes, the smallest words, like "already married to you," can bring back the biggest miracles.